Hello, everyone. I am coming to you today from Sea Isle City, New Jersey. I am facing the bay, and it's really quite lovely, quite beautiful. I'm extremely grateful. So, drop in, let me know where you're popping in from. Today, we are going to talk about the question because I talk so much about clarity. I get this question often. How do I know if I'm clear on my business or just pretending? And I don't think we're ever just pretending. I think there are levels of consciousness, and we're just not. Hello, Tracy. I think I saw you. Hello. Um, I'm going to see if I can move this so I can see comments. Maybe. Okay. So I believe that there are levels of clarity, and it's like we think we have clarity, and then you can go deeper and you can go deeper. But I'm going to pop all into all those information. Hello, Tracy from the Dominican Republic, my favorite place. And hello, Jose from Venezuela. That's an interesting place to be right now. Stay safe. So what we're going to talk about today, by the way, I'm Prosperous Jen. I already told you where I'm coming in today from Sea Isle City, New Jersey. And after 30 years in real estate, I launched a coaching business, and I did it with no capital in 6 months. And I did hit six figures in those 6 months. I am not pushing anybody to hit six figure in 6 months. It's something you can absolutely do if that's what you choose to do. Or you can take your time and slowly build something without so much pressure. I do believe that we have a choice in that. However, hitting a scalable business in 6 months is where the magic really is. And I hit that not because of hustling or any coaching or mentoring. I was able to do that because I really learned how to get clarity, how to get crystal clear on every single thing in my life. And so I'm going to spend the next couple of minutes talking about that. And then if we have some questions or anything, we can get into it. But I've learned that most people really lack clarity. And I've said it on here, and I'm going to say it again, but I really think this is so important to hear at this time of year. This time of year, when we are so excited, and the reason why I believe so many resolutions fail, I think they fail before February or by mid-February. It's like 90 something percent of people have already dropped their New Year's resolutions that they were all gung-ho for just a few weeks before that. And I truly believe it's because of a lack of clarity. We think we can just declare, I want this. And then that declaration is the clarity, but it goes much deeper than that. And so we're really kind of talking about clarity in the context of your business today. And I'm learning this lesson right now. I am the one beautiful lesson that I've learned in the last few years of launching this coaching business is even when I think I have the clarity, then I ask for more clarity, and then it goes deeper, and there's deeper levels. Like just how I was launching my group coaching business, I've now taken a little bit of a different turn, and I know that this new turn that I'm taking is really scaling my business in a way that is so aligned with who I am and the kind of coach that I want to be and the kind of leader I want to be and supports the life that I want to live. And here I am in New Jersey right now with my mom in her time of need, or it's my time of need. I want to be here with my mom and be present and be loving and be supportive for her while she's going through transition phase, a very intense transition phase in her life. And that's, yes, I love that you guys agree. And I know that you do, and you get that. And I'm very grateful for the two of you. And it's okay that you're my only fans on here. That's what it's all about. The three of us show up. We're going to do what we have to do because we have the clarity on why our business exists and what we are looking to do and the greater good that it serves. So that's what I want to do. I just want to help you really understand if you have real clarity. So I've created a framework. I've created a little process that's in the framework of my Beyond Limits. By the way, drop ready right now if you want the blueprint. And Jose, you should just be dropping that at some point earlier so I stop babbling. But drop ready in the comments if you are looking to get launched right away, want to get started, don't want to do it in a vacuum, don't want to do it in a bubble, and would love to not have to reinvent the wheel. This structure and this blueprint is going to help you to get creative and do all the things that you want to do. No strings attached, no big sales. All I want to do is support people who want to build a business that supports the life of their dreams. And so clarity, back to clarity. It's like gas. It is completely formless. You can't capture it. And so you're going to have a moment of clarity. But the thing about it, just like gas, that even in that moment, it's changing and it's evolving and it's shifting. Okay. So clarity isn't something that we arrive at and then that's it. It shifts. It's subject to so many different varying factors in this big, beautiful world and universe that we live in, with all the crazy news that's going on and so on and so forth. And this is especially true when it comes to business. There's a pulse, there's a rhythm, there's a beat. And if that rhythm changes, you want to shift and change with it. And so you want to be sitting down. You can take that drop ready off. You want to be sitting down, sitting in a position where you are ready to move with ebb and flow. Okay. And having clarity at all times, and clarity that is relevant to exactly where you are right here and right now. So I have these questions, and what they're going to reveal and what you're really looking for here is, do you have a solid foundation or are you kind of winging it? And this is the question you want to ask on every single thing you're doing in your life. So in how you're building out your business model, in how you're structuring your day, in how you're structuring your sales process, everything. This is all about I launched my week in my group coaching program doing an activation about surrendering this Monday, and talks very much about how this time of year, especially, it is so much about surrendering on one side and then intense action on the other. And that's that yin and yang, and really having that harmony but clarity is what really brings you there. So we're going to get those answers to those questions, get you unstuck, why you can be inconsistent and constantly pivoting. There's a difference between tweaking and adjusting and pivoting, and really that gap about, where you're at now and where you want to be, whether that's in your business or in your life. So again, drop ready. If you want that blueprint right now, I will send it to you, no strings attached. Okay, so question 1 that I want you guys to sit back and think about and ask yourselves. And we're talking in the perspective of business, but you can ask these questions for anything you want to gain some clarity on. So does this business give me the freedoms that I want? And for me, the freedoms that I want are freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of energy. You can sit back and think about what you want. And I think, honestly, we can't be thinking about clarity on anything until we are so crystal clear on what we want and what we desire. And so once you've done that, then you can go on and get the clarity in your business. So does this business give me those freedoms that I desire in my life? In my world, if I can't have all 3, then I'm just building myself that golden cage that I do not want to be in. Hello, everyone from LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Thank you for being here. If you have anything to add, please just drop it on in. We're talking about gaining clarity in your business. And so that first question is, does this business give me the 3 freedoms that I want? For me, it's time, money, and energy. I want complete freedom in those realms. If it doesn't give me all 3, I'm building a golden cage. And most people skip this. I was guilty. As much clarity as I think that I have had through this process, I have rebuilt my business 3 times, and I think I'm like maybe on 3.5 right now, because I'm going deep on how we're launching right now the group coaching, and going in a little different direction, even though it's the same thing. But I keep gaining more clarity and more clarity and more clarity, and it's just such a beautiful thing. And then, so you want to keep asking yourself that question. You don't ask yourself that question and then wait 30 years and ask yourself the question again. And you may think that sounds ridiculous, but I really think that's what 99% of the human race is doing. Okay. We're not going to do that. We want the clarity and in everything. And I ask these kind of questions on every aspect of my life, not just in my business. Is this relationship giving me the freedoms that I actually want? You can ask it for everything. So it's a really, really powerful question, and I hope that it serves you well. The second question is, am I building what I want to build or what I think I'm supposed to build? And this is not judgment. I think I'm like the smartest person I know. And I have restructured my business several times already. I'm restructuring it always because I know I have so much programming in me. I mean, I was in real estate for 30 years. I very much have, like, although I think I have a more expansive vision on how to grow business than a lot of people, I can still see a lot of that programming. Or also, I'm like the shoemaker without shoes. It's easy for me to tell everybody else how to do it, but when it comes to my own business, it can be a little difficult. And so, you go with what you think is the right thing to do in building a business. But then you want to really, is this the results that I want? Is this aligned with what my deepest desires are? And check yourself on that constantly every week, which is why in my Beyond Limits program, we learn about having, even if it's just us, a weekly L10 meeting, and we all understand what we're doing, what our goals are, what we're looking to accomplish, so on and so forth. Super important. So constantly asking yourself this question: Is this what I want? Is the actions that I am taking to grow this business and the decisions that I'm making is it moving me towards what I actually want before it's way too late, before we feel so obligated? I mean, listen, I stayed in a business relationship that I knew I had outgrown, and it turned into a big fucking disaster because of it, because I didn't honor myself and I didn't ask myself this question over and over, or if I did, I actually ignored myself. And this is another one for every aspect of your life. I know people that I love so dearly that stay in relationships that are just really not serving them in any way, shape, or form. But we didn't have the clarity before we entered the relationship, and then now we're in it, and then we're kind of stuck. I'm going to get to your questions. I know there's a couple. So the third one is, can I see myself doing this in 6 months, 1 year, 5 years? What do I want those years to look like? What are those years? What does it look like a year from now? What does it look like 3 years from now? What does it look like 5 years from now? Really understanding who you want to become in every single choice and every decision you make in your life, especially building a business, because building a business is such a huge part of who we are. And I don't know, I think probably 30-40%, and if you're insane like me, maybe 50-60% of your waking time is spent in this business. And so it's really important that we ask ourselves, where do I want this to be? And thank God I have been asking myself. So even though I may have built things sometimes in ways, I did have that clarity, and so I could readjust very quickly. And I'm looking at things every single week. So those are my 3 questions that I believe will really give you that clarity. So number 1, does this business give me the 3 freedoms I actually want? Number 2, am I building what I want or what I think I'm supposed to do? And number 3, can I see myself, or how do I see myself in this in 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and go as far out as you possibly can. Okay. Let's see. I know there was a question earlier. If you want to put the question up on the screen, that would probably be helpful. If not, I can start with, okay, perfect. What's the fastest way to expose a lack of clarity? So, learning how to listen to your intuition. And I call this resistance. When you start to do something, you make a decision, this is how I'm going to do this in my business, and then you find yourself like procrastinating it or starting it and not finishing, or just never really even thinking about it, whatever it is, or you do it and you hate it and you dread it, and so you start doing it and then all of a sudden you're doing it less and less and less. That feeling, that heaviness, that is resistance. And I truly believe that resistance comes from a lack of clarity. And also just not making traction. When we are so clear on what we want, right? Think about this. You know how all of a sudden you decide, I want a gray Mercedes, and I want it to be a hard top, and I want it to have these special wheels, hard top convertible with these special wheels. And then you think, oh my gosh, I have this great, unique car that I want, and I can't wait to get it. And then all of a sudden you start seeing these gray Mercedes out on the road. That is because of the clarity. And then all of a sudden it starts showing up in your world. So that I would have to say that I think the best way to expose a lack of clarity is really getting comfortable knowing exactly what you want, and also knowing how you want to feel. And if you feel that heaviness, that sluggish, that resistance, I believe that is where there's a lack of clarity. Anywhere that it doesn't feel good, there's a lack of clarity in all areas of our life. Does that answer that? Always a convertible. Yes. Yes. Okay. Does clarity come before confidence? Yes, because clarity builds the confidence. So once you have the clarity and you know exactly what you want, okay, you know exactly what you want to do, then other people's opinions aren't going to impact you. You're going to then, okay, this is what I'm doing. Now I can do the research. I can build everything around it. And you get your tools and your resources and all of that. That starts to build confidence. Right. So if you're not crystal clear, you're not going to build this beautiful platform for whatever it is that you're doing. And that's really, it's the action that builds the confidence. But you can't take action without the clarity. The building comes from the clarity. You can't start to build a house without the blueprint, or you can't build anything without the blueprint. So the clarity is the blueprint. And then the confidence comes, when you see a project, right? You ever drive by development and it's like, oh, look at week 1. And then by week 2, oh, look at all that they've done. And then all of a sudden you see it and you know exactly what that's going to look like. And it's beautiful, right? That's where you can feel that building of that confidence in that process. So it definitely comes after the clarity. Clarity is number one. If all you do is get clear, and you can answer, who am I and why am I here? What is my business? Why does it exist? What is the greater good that it serves? The clearer you get on these, then everything else will fall into place. You don't have to worry, oh, but I'm not very confident. You work on your clarity, you will be confident. I promise. What else we got? When things aren't working, how do you know if it's a strategy issue or a clarity issue? Well, first go back and get clarity again. Maybe it's something you haven't looked at in a while, or maybe it's something you didn't have enough clarity on. So you first take a step back, and in everything that we do, we set our intention. So what was my intention in whatever it is that isn't working? What did I want? What did success look like? And how do we know if things are working if we don't know what success looks like? I would just have this conversation with my team today. We talked about, how do we know if things are working out if we don't have the information? And the information is the clarity. So really what we talked about in our meeting today is gaining more clarity around what we're doing. So then we can really judge, is it a strategy issue? Or maybe we don't have enough clarity and maybe we need more. So you can never have enough clarity. So as soon as things feel like they aren't working, and again, that I truly believe when things aren't working, that is some sort of resistance showing up. And if you feel resistance, which a lack of results is resistance, well, then dig down, go deep, go within, and get that clarity. So if that's all we have, I just want to remind you, drop ready. I'm glad you like it. Hello, Olivia Eileen. Drop ready in the comments, and I will send you the exact blueprint that took me to 6 figures in 6 months. And here I am. I'm not telling you I'm going to take you to 6 figures in 6 months. As a matter of fact, I don't recommend building the business the way that I did. I recommend if you are transitioning out of a career, let's make a smooth, easy transition, build the business while you still have income. There's lots of paths. It does not have to be this, but everything in my life blew up. So I don't think I had much of a choice. What we want to do is build a business that supports the life of our dreams. And let's make sure that we are crystal clear on exactly what we want, because I believe 100% we can have and we can do anything in the world when we have that kind of clarity. So I know I can be like beating a dead horse sometimes, you guys, but this has been some incredible lessons for me in my life. And it's my mission to share them. Love you guys. Happy New Year.